Okay, hello everybody. For this month's Fearless Fridays, I'm here with Louise Colbridge. And Louise, I'll dive straight in and ask you to introduce yourself and just a couple of sentences on what you were doing before and what you're doing now, please.
Okay, hi there. Thanks for having me. So my name's Louise, and I'm a personal coach. And I quit my 9 to 5 job last August after just over 14 years working in communications and marketing, and made the big leap to set up my own business and work for myself.
Congratulations, first of all. That's a massive leap, as you said, so that's exciting. And what was it that made you take the leap? Was it a build up over time? Was it something that happened? Talk us through sort of what inspired you to make the change and what inspired you to make the change at that time last year.
Okay. So I moved to Singapore 10 years ago with my husband, and my career moved as well. So I carried on working in PR and marketing here and had my children, had a bit of time off, kind of in between having children, and went back to work for 4 or 5 years after my youngest daughter was born. And really just kind of noticed a shift in what I was passionate about and how my values had just completely changed from being kind of quite career orientated and, wanting an exciting job to kind of needing something that was more in line with kind of who I felt I was becoming. And I don't know whether it's a case of kind of just getting a bit older and having children who are a bit older, but just I felt like a real shift in my life and kind of what I needed. And coupled with that, I was going through a really stressful time in my job. And I just realized that kind of whilst I loved the people, and I loved kind of being in the team every day, the actual job just wasn't ticking the boxes for me anymore. I was working really long hours. My children weren't seeing me. I was really stressed. I wasn't exercising. I was getting sick. And I just thought there must be something more to this. There must be something more. I was in my mid-30s and just looking for something else. So a friend put me in touch with a coach, and I had just one conversation with her to start with, and literally my whole mindset just kind of changed. And I realized that, of course, it was possible to do something different. But I struggled for about 2 years kind of finding out what there was. I knew I wanted to work for myself. I knew I needed more time at home with my family. I knew I needed more time for myself. And it was just a bit of a journey, really. So it took about 2 years. I enrolled in a NLP course and realized that I loved that, and I loved working one-to-one with people, but I didn't want to fully kind of jump into the world of NLP. And so I started looking at coaching courses, and just as time and fate would had it, I was talking to another mum at a birthday party who I'd known for 4 years and never knew what she did, and her whole kind of life came out, and I enrolled on the same course that she did because I was so inspired by her and what she was doing, and I haven't looked back. So I made the decision that I was going to do the course, and I made the decision that I was going to set up my own business. But actually handing my notice in and kind of making that decision was quite difficult. And I spent a long time talking about it and not doing anything. And then again, things just kind of happened in the world that my boss at the time wanted to change my hours and extend them, and that was enough for me to say, actually, this is not going to work for me, and there's something else that's kind of calling me, and so I handed in my notice.
Well, there's quite a few interesting things there to unpick. I think the second part of what you said, the job didn't tick all the boxes anymore. You wanted more freedom for the family. So I think that's quite a common
Yeah,
scenario. And again, especially
yeah,
maybe for women in our mid-30s, that sort of happens.
yeah, yeah,
I loved what you said at the beginning, though. And I think I haven't heard someone phrase it quite that way in terms of, shifts happening and it doesn't quite reflect who I am anymore. And I think
yeah,
that's natural. It's so obvious if you think about it looking back, and especially from a coaching
yeah,
perspective. But I guess for us, usually, I think, we come out of school, we get onto a job, we go on that conveyor belt, and we sort of have the blinkers on. I guess we don't realize actually maybe I will
yeah,
change, maybe my career goals and so
yeah.
on will change.
Absolutely.
And then the other part that I love as well, which we'll unpick in a second in terms of the challenges, I guess, but it's that it doesn't happen overnight, right? Because you said the massive leap, yes, but I mean, first you have the insight, conversation with someone, a coach, this is not what I want, and then many steps, a couple of years pass, and then you have a conversation with someone else who happens to have a great coaching program. So it's lots of fortuitous conversations, it's work I'm sure you did on yourself on clarifying what you wanted and so on. So I think that's a really sort of important, realistic view, I guess, of how much time it can take and work as well to do that transition.
Yeah.
And in terms then of the challenges, you mentioned that, it didn't quite happen right away and so on. Can you tell us a bit more about what you found difficult or, for example, you mentioned it was quite difficult to work out even what you wanted to do instead. So what were the challenges you came up against?
So, for me, I knew that the only way that I was going to kind of manage my own time was to be my own boss. And I also kind of felt like I just had this desire to kind of create something and have an impact. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to tick that box as well if I wanted to tick it by working for someone else. So I knew there was something there for me to create. But I have literally been racking my brains for years thinking about what kind of business would I set up. And I think it was just once I'd kind of opened myself up to the possibility of stepping into those shoes, of kind of being in control of my destiny, I think that's when things started to open up to me and I started opening myself up to opportunities and possibilities. And that's when I did the NLP course. And what came from that was a love of working one-to-one with people and hearing people's vision and their excitement about their goals and dreams and kind of helping them work their way towards that. So, it took a long time for me I think it was gaining the confidence to accept that this was going to be my next move, like massively for me, just kind of stepping into that. And I've just found that at every step of the way with this, kind of the energy that I put out comes back in, which, as soon as you kind of open yourself up to the possibility of things happening, I think they start to happen. And they probably were happening anyway. I just hadn't been in the right place to acknowledge them. And that's been huge for me, is just getting over those mindset blockages of what is and is not possible.
Okay, great. And then, so what did help you? It sounds like, a lot of this came from you, but where else did you get the support then to overcome the mindset pieces and the more practical challenges?
So definitely, massively, my husband, knowing that I had somebody at home who said, you go and do what you need to do. Like, that was a huge foundation for me to be able to kind of go and explore. And that was the biggest support for me. I have kept quite quiet about everything that I've been doing, and I've been a bit scared and kind of putting myself out there. So I'm definitely still working on that. But so massively my husband for support. And also just, I found that doing the courses that I did, you suddenly build up a network of like-minded people who don't know your history, don't know your background, but know that you're really excited about something, and you suddenly start this new journey with people, and that's been amazing as well. So I've kind of made friends here that I've only known for a year, but we're on this kind of journey together, and that's been really amazing as well.
That's really empowering and liberating, I'd say, to almost start from scratch, from a blank slate with people, because as much as, and clearly your husband was a massive support, as much as our existing friends and family can be supportive, they are a bit like us, tied in the old us and expectations and their own lives. So I think I found that too, going to events, meeting other people who, as you say, don't know about you necessarily, don't even know really about what you're doing and so on, but will be supportive and encouraging, rather than be the kind of people who go, oh, what are you doing that for? And that's risky. And what about your mortgage? And so on.
Yeah. And I found that I didn't believe people around me, because of course they're going to say nice things to me. Of course they're going to tell me that I can do this, because they're my friends and they're my family. And I kind of needed something a bit more than that. So for me, definitely getting outside kind of not approval, but just kind of that reassurance that, you know, what I'm giving out is coming back. You know, it's just, I think it's about that kind of mutual respect from people who don't know you, who aren't friends with you, who don't need to tell you that you're doing a great job and that you're on this amazing journey. And it's having people who are on that journey with you, definitely.
That's important. Yeah, I don't know, I mean, people talk a lot about imposter syndrome. It's something we've been talking about in the Facebook group and so on. I just saw a post today, somebody said, oh, when will I get over this? I've just had like 5 people say how amazing my work is, and I just can't believe them. And then on the other hand, when people aren't saying that our work is amazing, we also feel bad. So it seems to be a bit of a catch-22, and I think the answer is obviously getting very sort of strong and confident and clear on our own worth without having to be reliant on the ups and downs of other people. But it's such a massive piece, unfortunately.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I've just been keeping every single piece of positive feedback that people have given me, and reminding myself of those things, and also just accepting that I'm not going to be 100% confident about this all of the time. And there's going to be days when I'm pulling my hair out and wondering if I've done the right thing, and, you know, just panicking, basically. I've had a lot of days where I've just been in complete panic, and then you have 10 days that are amazing, and you know, you do all these amazing things, you meet all these amazing new people, and you feel like you're having an impact on the world. Finally, I feel like I'm having an impact on the world, and that kind of makes up for the days when you don't feel so good.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. And again, as you said, it's different steps. There's the massive decision to take the leap and the support from your husband, and the fact that I'm going to start my own business, which is already a huge achievement. And then as you say, okay, now you've got that established, you've got your clients, and maybe of course, there's still an opportunity to feel more confident, to build a bigger audience, to put yourself out there, get more comfortable selling and so on. So there are those different steps. And as you said, just embracing the ups and downs. The good news is that does even out over time, but I mean, it would be pretty boring if every day was the same. So I think the reality is that we want it to be, you know, sometimes, my goodness, we're riding the bars of just got these amazing clients, the feedback I got is fantastic and it's gone so well. And then some days there are some disappointments and frustrations, and that's sort of life, isn't it?
Yeah,
if we're in it for the long haul, that's something we're going to have to accept, that it's not always going to be as idyllic as it seems.
And interestingly, I found the whole setting up the business thing kind of the easy part. I don't know, I found, like, because there was so much, I mean, I'm in Singapore, so there was lots of, you know, structure around kind of what I had to do to get that business set up and get my visa to work, etc. So I felt like there were a lot of clear steps, and it was very easy, like being at work, you know exactly what you needed to do. And it was once I'd done that, and actually sitting down and thinking, I've got to build a business, that was the really scary part for me, was the realization that, oh my gosh, I've done this. This is it now. Like, there's no turning back. It's official. And yeah, that was the really scary but really exciting part as well.
Yes, and scary and exciting do tend to come together, unfortunately. So it's funny you said that, because it costs like £11 to register with Companies House here in England, and obviously a website, like, another £10 takes 2 seconds. You can get a template, you know. So as you say, the steps of even as much as it seems like, oh, I have no idea how to start a business, it's actually relatively easy. And then the real work starts. It's not like I put up a website and then ta-da, this is now successful. And the other thing, of course, is because you're crafting your own business around your values and your lifestyle, there's no one who can give you a blueprint to tell you exactly this is your promotion path and this is what you need to do next and this is the training. It's all coming from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That's been the bit that I found the hardest, actually, kind of doing, you know, moving into a new career and kind of getting myself skilled and experienced and, you know, accredited and all of those things that you need to do has been really great, and kind of, you know, a supported process. And then there's the whole business bit, and you're right, nobody kind of tells you what you should be doing. And even despite my career in comms and marketing, I still wasn't able to do any of that for myself, because that was really difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially I think for coaching, because coaching, my training too was very much on coaching, and then we all come out, put up a website. I also come from a business marketing background. I think, that's it now, naively, not realizing that there is a whole other part to actually building the audience and attracting and building trust and all these things. So, and let's look at the positive then. What are the best things about your work and your lifestyle now?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I feel like my life has completely turned around. I mean, I have built a routine that is just perfect for me. I get to drop my kids at school. I exercise every day. I meet with really interesting people who inspire me so much to be better and learn more. And yeah, I just feel like I'm having a positive impact on the world in terms of my work, but equally, I feel like my kind of life and work have sort of merged into one, which I guess could sound quite scary to some people, but I feel like I'm kind of living and breathing what I do, and it's no longer become about work and home. It's just, this is my life and this is how I'm choosing to live it. And yeah, I mean, for me, the main driver was having an impact and being able to spend some quality time with my children and not be stressed and busy and sick and kind of worrying about kind of balancing everything. So that has just, I mean, it's been life-changing.
And to have achieved those two things that you really wanted is fantastic. That's sort of more important than then the specifics of the ups and downs of the business and so on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Amazing.
And so do you have any words of wisdom for someone who maybe is feeling as you did, I've changed, this isn't a fit for me anymore, I want that flexibility, but I don't know where to start? What words of wisdom would you give to that person?
I think it is giving yourself permission to explore and be open to opportunities, and realizing that anyone can do it. I think I thought that running your own business or setting up your own business, you had to be an entrepreneur, or you had to be young, or you had to be, always coming up with new ideas. And I don't think it's about that. I think it's about just finding what passion you want and what you want your life to look like, and kind of almost working backwards from that. Somebody said something to me, or I read somewhere as I was starting out, and it was start before you're ready. And I've used that a lot more recently, because previously I would have always kind of researched and made cases for and cases against. And actually, I think there's definitely the time and the place to just do it and work it out. And if you put the energy and the effort in, it will all come together.
Yeah, that's all music to my ears. It's everything I love to say too. So I love where you started in terms of exploring, because I think we tend to put the cart before the horse in the sense that we want to work out exactly how's it going to work and that step, and I need the exact plan and the model and so on. But actually we don't even know what we want and why. Yeah. So that's the biggest thing. And then as you said, to actually start before you're ready, it's so difficult, but we never will be ready. So many times people are saying like, oh no, I'm going to do this when when the kids are born, when the kids are grown up, when we've moved, when we've not moved, when we, there's so many reasons why it's not the right time. So that's fantastic advice. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
And where can we find you if you want to hear more about what you do, and also do tell us exactly what kind of coaching you're doing, and your social media handles and all that jazz.
Sure. So I'm coaching people who are on the edge of embarking on something really big. So I'm working with lots of women, some men, but mostly women who are ready to change their careers or set up a business, or to develop and go for a really big goal. So really exciting clients who kind of bring lots of energy, enthusiasm, and really ready for change. And I'm based in Singapore, and my website is www.wearelimitless.me.
Oh, fantastic. And do you work internationally with clients, I imagine, from Singapore then? Is that something?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Obviously, lots of in-person here in Singapore, and over the phone or Zoom, Skype, etc. Yeah.
Great. Well, definitely put those links, and thank you so much, Louise. It was lovely to hear about your story. And again, the journey continues, of course, but you've come really far already, so it'll be exciting to follow your journey and see where you move towards in the next few years. So thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been great. Thank you.